Hello everybody, I'm Chris Mulholland and today I have with me Helen Russell, who's a member of Larne Outdoor Bowling Club. So you're very welcome, Helen.
Thank you, Chris.
So we're going to have a wee chat about coaching shortly, but firstly, I know you're involved in the East Anthem League that was started just over 10 years ago.
It was started in 2012, the East Anthem Tuesday Night League for ladies.
Right.
And it was brought about because there's so many women that can't take part in the Thursday afternoon normal leagues that run, and it's actually a joint venture between the LNI WPGA and the LNI WBA. There's 3 parks and 3 private greens clubs in it. We play regularly on the Tuesday night from April through to the end of July is usually the league finishes, and we also run for bowls, plumbers, that's been done with it as well for people.
Right, so that's plenty of bowling. Good opportunity for those people who are maybe working or are carrying for others, or it might even be at school. I don't know, there's some youngsters, but it would give an opportunity. I take it, is it shorter length games then? So it's not...
Yeah, it is pretty ideal. It's 14 ends, and instead of having trials, it'll just be right short each end. None of us really have to travel further than about, at the maximum, it takes 15-20 miles. So you usually, even match starts about 6:30, and you can be home at Galway I wouldn't say it's the warmest, I have to say, in April or the May evenings, but we get by and sort of get to meet people from other clubs that we wouldn't normally play in the Thursday league. We've been the private greens leagues, but we play against Perrin and Whitehead and Antrim. So
well, it's obviously nice to play against different clubs, sort of, and different associations. But it's also a great opportunity to get people into bowls who are maybe working or that haven't had the opportunity before. So it's a way to get them in, and then I presume there's other things then can follow from that if they get in on the Tuesday night.
Well, the Tuesday nights, but also it allows us to use it as training ground, and this is what says one of the spin-offs from it. When you're trying to attract new members into your club, it's very difficult to throw them in at the deep end and with some of the leagues. So you can start off on the Tuesday evening, and you're breaking them in gently, and they get to know the positions in the green. And we have a mix. Each team that goes in is one rink is a team, but ideally you need to have about 6 people on that team that you could do a bit of rotation. So you'll have a bit of a mix of experienced players, right, and some completely new people, novices to the game, and you can really bring in one, can do a bit of coaching with them. From that point of view, it is really beneficial.
Did I read somewhere that possibly in the region of over 90, ladies would have been involved?
On average, we had 13 teams in this year, and if it's in each, right, there's 6 people in the team. You're talking about 90 people to be involved, and sometimes some other members of the clubs could be dragged in, and they're particularly bad.
That's possibly half of those who would not have played the game would be new. As you're saying, there's a blend of sort of novices and experienced players, which is a great way of bringing the newer players on. But obviously then that, there's a number of people who may never have got a chance to try the game have come in.
That's true. And it's also, for me, I worked through, I take almost the last 20 years of work, but it was okay getting a Thursday afternoon off, but I couldn't get any other afternoon off for my through links to practice with the rest of the club. So the Tuesday night gave me an opening to go out and get good practice in. And some clubs use that as well. You will see some of the experienced players are in and get a bit of practice as well as coaching on the novices.
It sounds a great opportunity, a great win for the players, but also a great win for the club. Also a way of helping and possibly getting new members into the club as well, and helping the club remain open as well.
It also helps with the succession plan, and one of the reasons you get sometimes with no back end, you put more players that will take no back end, and it's a good grounding, good opportunity to get yourself into the back end. That's why I started to play back end, was in the Tuesday evenings. We going out and just working our way through it with some advice from more experienced players all in our team. And it's succession to your positions within your club.
Yeah,
need to do it.
That's great. And I presume, it's obviously a very good social thing, but I presume there's a wee bit of competitive play as well in it as well. I'd say most people get into it the competitive instinct kicks off as well.
I could say there's no sport anybody plays that there's not an element of competitiveness in it.
That's good. Well, I assume it's obviously been going very well. I assume it'll keep going in the future year.
Yes,
I mean, I believe, it's I mean, the dinner at the end of the year, which is probably one of the leagues, that's sort of gone out of luck. Certainly of men's bowls, dinners and things like that are getting harder to get people to attend. But I think, yeah.
It usually goes between the bar or just the traffic line and getting on tennis and obviously transport, because we do have the bigger facilities for it. So from that point of view, it's very good, and nobody really has to travel that far. It's it is sociable, but also it's minimal administration. WhatsApp is one of the best inventions ever. So the league will be drawn after in a few weeks' time. Everybody will be handed their sheet, and you organise your own matches on the Tuesday evening, and that's it. There's not a lot of palaver, if you can use that word around.
Yeah. People use common sense.
Common sense, yeah.
Yeah, which is great when that dictates and people are able to sort it out between themselves. Cuts out a lot of the problems or the issues that come up generally at times, between fixtures and that as well.
There's nothing that can't be solved without phone call.
Well, that's great. So hopefully that'll go on. That's obviously great for women and bringing women in sport. You mentioned obviously coaching, it goes on during that, and you're obviously ideally placed to do some of that. You're sporting your coaching sweatshirt here. So you said that you're playing bowls for 20 years?
I just started, I suppose I was late coming to bowls. I've actually got a career break from work for about 3 years.
Right.
That's what took the bowls.
Right. So how long have you been involved in the coaching, and what brought you into coaching? What made you decide you wanted to actually do a bit of coaching?
I have a background in sport. I would have been in hockey, and I would have been coaching hockey for children, minis and juniors. And I always think you need to go back into your sport. And if you enjoy a sport, why not make it available to more people than possible? You can't keep it all to yourself. And I got into the coaching. Actually, I got into the coach because there's nobody would do secretary in 2013 was and the IBCA. So I was helping them out, and I'm still helping them out in 2026.
That's one thing about these posts. Helping out's great, becomes permanent very quickly.
Indeed. So it's nice to see get people involved in the coaching side, and people underestimate their actual skills. A lot of people that have been in jobs like teaching or HR or anything to do that requires good communication, you can be a good coach. You don't have to be a brilliant bowler to be a good coach.
Well, the best bowler doesn't necessarily make a good coach. And it is a matter of being able to communicate to people and talk to people, just in a general way, and just spot things and pass on, fairly simple tips. There's that, which is good, from coaching. So, but it's obviously good for anybody new you can then sport to, speak to a coach early on. We do have a lot of people probably at clubs that are very willing to help, but with the best will in the world may not give the best advice, because a lot of people unfortunately try and coach people to teach as they play, rather than sort of working with the other else. So obviously people being qualified is obviously very important.
It is that you understand, that you have to allow the individual maybe to do what's comfortable for them. You can't force them into a way of play. In our club, we have ran, in fact, just last year, we got a grant from the council, and most local councils will have grants available that'll help you fund coaching events. So we ran a coaching programme for about 8 weeks, May and April, and May and June. So I lose track of time, May and June. And people turned up. We had children who were coming for tennis coaching, and that's the beauty of having 2 sports in our club. We've got still a public young.
Yes, you're sort of a lawn bowls and tennis club. So you're obviously
we had some children, and then we had adults, and they really enjoyed the session. There wasn't that many of them, but they came back every week, and that's the proof that you're doing something that people find enjoyable, that they come back. So I am currently go to a Be Fit class, so I'm working in a number of ladies there to try and get them to come to our coaching this season, and through all the successful with some of them.
So that's all great. I'm going to sort of wind it up now and finish off. So if there's any sort of ladies out there who are thinking playing bowls and maybe work through the day, and that, what would your advice be? And then the second part of that is, if you have any bowlers out there, male or female, but sort of mainly female, because we're lacking a wee bit of female coaches as well, who are currently playing bowls and are thinking about coaching but not sure and sort of thinking, would they have any value? What would your advice be?
Well, what my advice to ladies that would be interested in bowls is check the website. I think the Federation website has a list of all the bowling clubs. Find one that's local to you and give them a call and see if they do some coaching and what what days that they would offer coaching on. Equipment, most bowling clubs will supply you with equipment. Don't be worrying about that at the start. Just turn up and see if you enjoy it. And, it's a good way of keeping yourself fit for quite a few years. I think it's one of the sports where people in their 80s and 90s still enjoy very active participation in sport.
Yep.
In terms of those people who would like to coach, give it a go. We have a coaching association, and there's a list of people who will help and advise you with that to develop lessons that are easy to follow. Don't swat people with too much information at one time, and also let them get on the green and start to be competitive with each other. And I think don't keep them standing around too long.
That's great. Helen, thank you very much for coming in and having a chat with us today. A lot of good information there. Hopefully your league and your coaching will go from strength to strength.
Thanks very much, Chris. Thank you.